Recording. So again, my name is Charles Owen with Paladin. I'm going to introduce Nathan here, who is the president of Watch Your Total Protection. He's going to talk to us about retail loss prevention today. Go ahead, Nathan, and take it away.
All right, thank you, Charles. Like you said, my name is Nathan Lohman. I'm the president of Watch Your Total Protection. I'm going to go over some basic retail loss prevention things that you guys can look out for in your stores, and then I'm also going to talk about how we've partnered with Paladin to actually integrate the two platforms to kind of be able to get more power out of your data, and then also tie all the receipt transaction information to the video. So now instead of just looking at a return report trying to figure out where cash is going, you can actually watch the video that's associated with that. You can search for types of transactions. And then I'm also going to briefly touch on some cash handling and some counterfeit, because this is kind of a point-of-sale driven seminar. And then Charles will wrap it up at the end there for any questions that you guys may have. Like you said, I've been in the industry for a long time. We've the hardware stores alone, we're in over 1,800 stores, so we've seen it all. We answer about any question. We've seen all different types of loss, from collusion between employees. We've seen managers taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from some of these independent retailers. So if there's any specific questions, we can always follow up later. Also, we've definitely have a pretty broad knowledge of the topic. So first off, let's talk about some retail theft trends. And actually, some of these numbers have gone up. This is a 2011 survey. Employee theft is 43.7%, where people are losing items from shrinkage. Now that also includes in returns at the register, which we'll talk about in a little bit, where instead of just getting hit once when a customer steals an item, the employee hitting you at the register, you can lose the item out the door, plus you can also lose the cash from the sale. So over $16.2 billion is lost due to employee theft, and that number over the last 5 years has actually increased. It's well over 20 now. And then to add on top of that employee theft, I like to point out that 18.7% or more is also collusion between internal and external actors. So this is a friend of the employee coming in, getting charged for a different item and walking out. It's sweethearting, where instead of being charged for all three, they're paying for one and leaving with three. It also includes, massive discounts or abusive use of employee discounting. So these are some numbers that I like to point out right off the bat here. So the retail theft part, when it ties into point of sale, that I like to talk to is the average loss that we see when we're doing any type of investigation is $20 to $30 a day in cash or merchandise per transaction. And if you multiply that out for a single employee, that can be well over $7,000 lost annually from only a single employee. And some types of point-of-sale fraud are cash returns, voided transactions, sweetheart deals. So let's talk a little about how they're taking the money at the point of sale here. So what happens? A lot of stores have a system in place where they're actually able to require an override for sales over a certain dollar amount. Most of the retailers we find set anywhere from a $50 to $100 threshold on that. The biggest thing that you have to look at, though, is if we have that threshold at $50 and the main loss is between 20 and 30, most of these type of transactions go never reviewed. The other thing with a small transaction in any store that does any type of decent volume, most of the time you're not going to go through and review $20 to $30 transactions. And in a hardware store, for example, let's say it's a hammer and a screwdriver, when you're cycle counting and you realize that you're off and your inventory's off, a lot of retailers are associating that with theft of the product actually walking out the door. And a lot of the retailers never take the time to consider that it actually might be the return at the register. So what that means is the employee now will go ahead and get a $30 cash sale, let's say for that hammer and that screwdriver, I walk out the door with that product. Being the customer, I purchased it, we did a full transaction, $30 exchanged hand, I left with the product. Now what the employee does is they'll recall that receipt, or let's say that I'm one of those customers that you know by name and Nate's always in here, he always pays cash, he never wants his receipt. Well, you know, it's your employee's job to get to know those customers and build a relationship. So that works against you in this situation because now the customer gave the employee the receipt because they didn't ask for it. So the employee has the original receipt. They can do a return against that. And now you've lost the cash out of the drawer and the inventory out the front door. And the other side of that is, depending on the reorder level on that type of product, you might lose a third time if your system hasn't triggered a reorder being out of stock. So what I recommend with this type of loss, even if the point of sale integration is not going to happen tomorrow and it's going to take you a little longer to get that type of setup going with a loss prevention system and a camera system and all that, an easy thing you can implement is get a milk crate or some type of bin at the front register. As those type of returns come in, go ahead and tape that original receipt plus the return receipt to that item. Have a manager or hire review those at random times throughout the day, and then put all those in an envelope and match it up at the end of the day. What this does is it makes the item that was returned have accountability for that receipt. So now when the manager quickly reviews that, they can say, okay, I had 7 receipts today. I checked in those 7 items that were returned. They go and look at the end of day point of sale return, see there was 7 on there. It's a wash. So that's a real easy way to at least get going with returns. Yeah, it creates a little extra process, but the good thing is if you are having this type of loss, it's a quick way to at least start hedging your bet and really turning that around. So, you know, retail theft, you know, specifically in a hardware store, you know, we're seeing the theft at a point of sale, you know, aisles to watch. We got power tools, plumbing, electrical, seasonal. Any store, whether it be hardware or not, I always recommend dumpsters and receiving. I recommend seeing that product from the time it gets off your delivery truck all the way onto the floor. And then start looking at you know, your different areas. You know, I like to usually have some type of coverage if you have open bathrooms, you know, corners, anywhere there's any type of corner. If you have any type of workwear, or if you're a pharmacy and you guys have health and beauty and power tools are 2 of the largest areas of theft overall for retail. And then, you know, watch for, you know, if you have garbage cans and that type of stuff out in your store where it'd be easy to stash a slash package. You know, remember, if as you're planning implementing a camera system, you think about those high theft areas. So, you know, surveillance in general is more than just to catch the customer. It allows you to help manage your operations. You can react to customers more efficiently because now you kind of have the eye in the sky. You can see what those customers are doing while they're walking around your store. You can see how they're interacting with your product. You know, maybe you put a new end cap in or brought some new product. Now you can see that interaction. Obviously, it'll help you prosecute shoplifters and employees. The point of sale integration that we talked about, and I'm going to show you in a couple seconds here. And then, you know, there's DVR options to fit any budget and every need. You know, a lot of people look at loss prevention and have gotten a quote from ADT like 10 years ago that was some ridiculous number. You know, costs have come down quite a bit, and there's a lot of different options. So I always encourage everybody, if you haven't looked at a camera system in a while, you might try to get another quote on that. What I'm going to show you real quick is I'm going to show you what the integration actually looks like. So this is actually here in our office. We have some dummy data coming through here, but you'll see that there's going to be red text on the screen as that point of sale transaction rolls in. So anything that's on that receipt is what we get. And what's really nice with the Paladin integration is we get that data as stuff is scanned. Some point of sales, when they do the integration, we actually don't get the data till the receipt's printed. It's still powerful, but what was nice is Paladin really took the time to develop a real nice integration where we're getting that line item detail. So now when they scan that item, you're seeing that item. So if you're looking for sweethearting, you're looking for line item voids, you can literally see what that employee is doing as they do it. What's neat too is you're able to search for anything that is on that point of sale transaction. So we're actually able to go through and search for any of the data that's on the receipt, whether it be a SKU number, receipt number, or, ooh, sorry about that, or a total. Bear with me for 1 second. Sorry about that if you guys heard that ringing.
Yeah, we heard it. Wasn't a problem.
Okay. I'm sorry, we got rid of it. It's gone now. All right, we're back. Okay, so the point of sale data is all searchable, and then you can actually view the video that's attached with that. Let me go ahead here and show you guys the difference. So what I'd like to show everybody is this is the different options of what's available in video to show you the different qualities. So older video, the best option we had was D1 here. So this is the older coax, the black wire that was run D1. Now standard for the industry is going to be anywhere from 1.3 to 3 megapixel, where you can see at 30 feet, that's the image we're getting on a license plate. That's the image that we're getting with for facial recognition. The image quality is much better, the costs have come down, and then pretty much standard for the industry, any system that you're looking at, you want to see anywhere from 960H to 1080p or better resolution. Other types of loss prevention, we recommend the public view monitors when you walk in the store. That can actually cut theft by up to 80%. So if you are looking to try to decide on what your best route is for a budget, I recommend these public view monitors 10 to 1. You cut down theft. You're starting to see a lot of the major retailers, the Walmarts of the world, start to roll out 30 to 40 of these per store. Cash handling, counterfeit detection, I just wanted to show you guys some of the red flags to watch out for. In regards to cash handling, some major things to look out for is anybody with resistance to new procedures, anybody that repeats counts multiple times. A lot of times you'll get an employee that wants sole control over the cash or the money. Anybody with expressed money anxiety, so that guy that, hey, my rent's late and that type of stuff, or my car broke down. Another big thing at the register is looking for tracking items, stacks of pennies, paper clips, or some employees actually just keep a little Post-it note that they write amounts on. And then obviously we're looking for excessive merchandise returns, and then anybody that's looking to stay late or be left alone, it gives them time to rebalance that drawer based on all the money that they hadn't taken out yet that day. So there are some options for technology for counting that we offer. These money scales and some of the other stuff can actually count a drawer in under a minute. I'll show you a quick video of what that looks like here. There's two people here. This is actually a Goodwill that we work with. They're counting the same drawer. One's counting by hand and the other one's using the device that I just showed you. You'll see that she'll get about 3 drawers done in the same time. This lady counts 1. Both people are the cash handlers for the company, so they're very good at counting, and you'll see that she even loses a roll of quarters there and she's still ahead. Some things to look out for on the bills. I don't recommend the pens. Might have gotten a couple slides out here, but what I recommend is you always look at the visual security authentications on the bill if you don't have a bill checker. Holding it up will show you that there's a watermark. It will also show you the strip in the bill, and a lot of people will just swipe the pen and call it a day. Well, there's different ways that counterfeiters and even people with printers at home can get around those pens. So I recommend that you always do some type of visual, or use a device like this where we've got a UV light, or a device like this where it'll actually check all those properties of the bill. We've actually seen over the last year, Target has actually rolled this type of scanner out in all their stores. It's a Target Red scanner. They had it made with their custom color, but they actually pass any 20, 50, or 100 through these devices. That's generally our recommendation, anything 20 on up that you run through counterfeit detection. And obviously, I never recommend accepting a bill like this. So that's pretty much all I have. I'm going to let Charles take over for a minute and see if there's anything else with point of sale he wants me to touch on or show, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Hey guys, this is Charles. I really appreciate this, Nathan. It's really, really good information here. I wanted to stress one other area of theft that has come down as of late, and that is with credit card processing. Credit card processing, you know, Visa and MasterCard are trying to offset their liabilities of fraudulent transactions and put that onto both merchants and the consumer. And it's just, I think it's really important that we understand that it's the onus of the store owner and your responsibility to really take a look at people that are using credit cards, look at their ID, match it up with the name that's on the credit card. Never take a credit card over the phone. That's a big no-no in this space. And if somebody uses a card and you don't have an EMV device, meaning a chip card reader, and they swipe it, they can contest that, and Visa won't even blink. They won't even investigate that. So it's very important that you have this documented. And the best way to document it is, you know, number one, check the ID first. Number two, make sure they're on some type of surveillance camera. If somebody comes in and makes a large purchase in your store and then calls Visa and says, that wasn't me, and you have it on video, you've just saved the day. So make sure that you take that into consideration as well, because there's just been an undue amount of additional types of credit card theft and fraud because of the new EMV liability transfer that's been put in place. So I wanted to mention that. I do see a question here, and if I can get to it here, it says, we have an existing camera system. Will Paladin help us integrate our existing system into their RPOS system? So, Nate, I guess that's a question for you. Can we take some of the existing equipment and use your technology to integrate with Paladin?
Yes, so a lot of times we will reuse existing equipment. A lot of times we do have to change out the DVR. I'm not quite sure. I see the question there also. If you could tell us what kind of DVR, we can follow up with you later. But a lot of times the recording device is actually where we process that data. It is the more expensive piece of the operation. But we can work with any existing setup and definitely reuse a lot of what you have and make it work with Paladin. Because of how the data is processed and to remain with PCI compliance and stuff, you know, at our side, we only have certified our equipment, obviously, and Paladin has done a direct integration with us. So, you know, third-party products that, you know, that'd be up to Paladin, but the integration and reusing the equipment, we can definitely work with you on that one.
All right, are there any, oh, here we go. We have another, oh, actually, we have contact information for you, Nathan, to give them a call. There's another question here. Are there metrics that can be shared about how many fraud attempts were stopped at Target?
As far as the counterfeit bills, we've just seen the rollout. They usually share their data with the National Retail Federation and different loss prevention groups. The rollout just started, I think it was fourth quarter of last year, so none of those, none of that data has really been made public. I will tell you though, just from retailer feedback from the retailers that we've implemented with, we hear probably several times a week bad hundreds. The new $100 bill is kind of funny. When that came out, I was doing a loss prevention seminar with True Value, and within 2 weeks of that new 100 coming out, there was a retailer that had 3 bad bills passed. With the new 100, it had the strip, it had everything in it, and it was within 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, he had 3 bad bills, and it checked out. Everything was good except the bell and the wall didn't go from green to gold. But literally within 2 weeks, the bad bills were already out there. And generally, it's not always in big towns. We see the bad bills popping up in smaller suburbs and smaller towns, because counterfeiters know the bigger towns have seen more of it and they've actually implemented those systems. And also, a lot of the products, like the products we sell, they actually offer a bill guard guarantee. So if you have that product in your store and register it with that address, they'll actually reimburse you for the cost of the bill if it's taken. And those scanners, the one that I showed you, the one that actually scans the bill, is about $300. Those counterfeit lights you can usually find for about $20, $30.
Wow. That's awesome. Nathan, one other thing, if you wouldn't mind giving us your contact information, putting that on the screen, just type your number on there where somebody can contact you if they have any additional questions. And then also, if you could just let people know what shows that you'll be performing seminars at, that would be great, and then maybe they can catch you at one of the shows.
Okay, we'll actually this week be at, or next week we'll be at the, no, this week we'll be at the Do It Best show in Indianapolis, and then we also do all the major hardware shows. So we'll be at Orgill, True Value, Ace Hardware, and Do It Best this fall. We're also a part of American Rental Association, and then we do all the Goodwill shows also. So we do all the hardware shows. We're the preferred vendor for any of that. At Orgill and True Value, we'll actually have loss prevention seminars both in the fall. And the Orgill seminar, we actually have Paladin there, so we can actually touch more on that and kind of show the integration in the booth. So it's kind of neat that you can see it. If you're going to the Orgill show, you can see it right there on the floor. It's a nice setup with both of us at that show.
Well,
I've got
awesome.
my name and number, and I'll put my email on there too.
Yeah, awesome. So there's Nathan's contact information, folks, if you want to contact him, and Candace will make sure to give you a call. Did you copy that, Nathan?
Yes, I saw that
information. Okay.
Thank you, perfect. Candace.
Yep. So we'll take care of that, and I don't see any more questions. So again, thank you. A rebroadcast of this can and will be posted to the Paladin point of sale /webinars screen, and you'll be able to watch this and share it with your friends. I think this is very informative, great information. Thank you for your time today, and you guys, thank you for the attendees for taking the time to be here, and be sure to show up next week for another webinar at 9 a.m. on Tuesday Pacific time. Thanks, everybody. Take care.